Hey there, this is Fufsky coming to you from Dubai, UAE, and currently I'm at a fancy hotel called the H Hotel. And inside this hotel, there is a restaurant called The Crossing situated right behind me. It is an upscale Indian fine dining establishment, and it has some of the best Indian food I have ever had. In fact, this is not my first time visiting the restaurant. Last week, I was here doing a shooting for their tasting menu, and it turns out that there wasn't enough time, and there were a lot of information behind the dishes, such that I thought the format of that video is not doing this justice. Chef Ankur has kindly invited me back again to experience at this restaurant once more, and hence I'm here. I can't wait to share with you this entire experience. Let's go. Chef Ankur has grown up in a family of railway workers, and he has traveled the entire Indian subcontinent during his childhood. That's where he draws his inspirations for his food. Also, this restaurant is made to look like a railway station from the decoration, but in a more elegant way. One thing I really like about this restaurant are these carefully selected paintings that reflects the value of the restaurant. For example, this particular one, it is in the format of serigraph, and the theme for this one is Ganapati offering flowers. The reason for choosing this painting is that it wants to reflect the value of Indian culture without being too loud. Finally, it's time for the meal. We're having the full tasting menu experience with some addition curated by the chef to showcase the diversity of the cuisine that this restaurant offers, so I'm very excited. This is the menu. So first thing first, we always start with a cocktail. This is Aagh, this is Laal. Aagh means fire and Laal means red. This is a whiskey-based cocktail, and what's interesting is that it uses something called coconut ring as souring agent instead of lemon juice. Coconut ring is a dried plum-like fruit that's sort of like tamarind but isn't tamarind. So that is used as a souring agent instead of lemon. So yeah, very interesting, very Indian as well. So let's try that. It's got a nice, not lemon, but of this coconut ring here. It has this like acidic flavor, but very mild, and also cocktail just a little bit. And you do actually taste a bit smoky flavor in this one as well. This is a vodka-based cumin-infused cocktail with cranberry juice and berry puree. Oh, wow. Well, this one is so nice. You got that slightly fruity, sweet flavor. A hint of vodka, very mild, but that cumin flavor is actually quite, I won't say quite potent, but I would say quite present. It lingers on your palate. That is a very nice touch. It's a smooth cumin flavor that's infused in this vodka. That's exactly what that is. That is interesting. All right, so let's start with the first course. This is Chaat. Well, Chaat is one of my favorite Indian snacks because it's so rich in flavor. This one is on a shiso leaf. It has curd, tamarind sauce, pickled chickpea, and some pomegranate seeds with a bit of these seeds on top. Very interesting. Actually, the combination of curd and tamarind paste looks like mole, just in terms of visual, but of course they're very different. It's a very beautiful and light piece. The flavor is very nice. You got slightly sweet, slightly sour, crispy texture. Basically, the chaat that you will have in India, but condensed into a piece of crispy shiso leaf. And yes, of course, you do taste that shiso leaf flavor that gives it another interesting layer of complexity. All right, next course we have Chhena Khandvi. This is also what I had last time. So basically, this is homemade cottage cheese with a chickpea flour, gram flour, wrapped on the outside, tempered with mustard seeds and sesame. And beneath it, there's some microgreens like arugula, pea shoots, spinach. This is wrapped like a cannoli with the cottage cheese inside. The homemade cottage cheese is so good. Mild, creamy, very soft. And the fact that it's being tempered with mustard seeds and sesame gives it a slight hint of nutty, mustardy flavor that surprisingly goes well with the cheese. They're all on the very mild side, so you're not gonna distinguish certain flavor to be very potent. They all blend pretty well, so what you have primarily is that creamy, cheesy flavor and mouthfeel, which to be honest is quite an interesting dish. Next up, we have Gunpowder Prawn. So 2 pieces of beautiful prawn here with masala. The sauce is made with garlic, butter, and lemon. That's it. It's plump and muscular, got the nice chew. And at the same time, you taste that masala here, and the spice seasoning, and also a hint of this garlicky, buttery flavor infused. Next thing to do is to suck the head, as always. As always, I mean, I don't suck head, but when it comes to shrimp head, I suck it. Sorry, this is over 18 channel. Oh my god, that's so good. There's a bit of meat in here, and that shrimp paste is super umami. And also, this is slightly salty because it does contain natural salt, plus it's being seasoned. So it had some salt, but it's not like too salty or anything. It is good, it is good. And the next thing you want to do is that you want to use this pulp to soak up all this delicious sauce. Let me tell you, this bread is real good. The bread is very soft and fluffy and light, and it soaks up all the sauce like a sponge. There's nothing much to say about this, it's just pure deliciousness. Cocktail round 2, here we have Caipranko and Deccan Tonic, both their signatures. This one has cachaca, jaiga mustard, date syrup, and apple juice. Slightly sweet and fruity, a hint of this sour lemon in there, and you got that alcohol flavor coming through very nicely as well. I like the fact that they put this crushed ice sort of, so when you drink it, you do receive some of these crispy ice pieces, which is a nice textural component. So this one we have Deccan Tonic. It is tequila, fresh grape juice, agave syrup, Himalayan pink salt, some beet julienne, tonic water. A nice tequila flavor. A bit fruity and citrusy undertone in there as well. If you drink it from the edge of the cup, you do have a little bit of the season from the salt, which I do like as well. Next up, we have Ragi Khoozh. It is a palate cleanser, slow cooked millet with rice and curd, mixed with pickles and crisps. This is already mixed up, so look at that. There's a lot of components in this one plate here. Oh man, it is indeed a palate cleanser. It is so refreshing. It is yogurt based with a bit spice as seasoning. You have the crisp and the pickled onions, which gives it the refreshing feel. And also the contrast from the crisp is also very nice. This is definitely serving as a palate cleanser. This is good to enjoy on its own. I can just eat this as a dish, no problem. It is supposed to stay with us as a side dish throughout the course of the meal. Next up, we have Sanpiau. This is an ethnic porridge cooked with egg, garlic, lemongrass, galanga, and some other seasoning in here, mixed up together. This is from the state of Mizoram. It's a very hearty porridge with a bit of onion crisp, with a bit of this egg, chicken shred, a bit of umami, a bit of lemongrass, galanga, herbaceous flavor, everything, a little bit of everything. It's a very nice porridge. Next up, one of my favorite here, lamb chop, black pepper, cumin, and microgreens. The flavor is so good. You also have a bit this lamb fat from within, a touch of seasoning of black pepper and cumin. Very simple, but very delicious. That's it. You don't need anything more. And there's one thing I just have to do. I'm gonna just like grab it and just gnaw on the bones. So intense, so tender, so fatty. They nailed it. All right, next up, we proceed to the main course section, and look at this is absolutely a feast. But first, in front of me, this is bottle masala. Basically, this is a pan-fried fish served in this masala called bottle masala. Why? Well, because it is in a bottle, but not in this bottle though. It's usually that when people make masala, they need to store it for an entire year before they can make another batch. So when they make the masala, they store that in an amber color bottle. So that's where it gets the name of bottle masala, which is a coincidence because this is also in a bottle. So it is poured over the fish, served with some microgreen. The fish is tender, moist, with a nice crusty surface, and the masala flavor is so good. When it comes to things like curry or masala, they're very complex, so it's very hard to describe due to the taste if you haven't had it already. But I can tell you that this is different from garam masala. I think this is more on the peppery side of things, but also with more nuanced flavor underneath it. We always have some green to pair with every dish. This one has a nice lemony dressing and with some mustard seed as well. Definitely a complexity within it. Very refreshing at the same time as well. And also there are some pine nuts in there, so it provides different textural components as well. Next up, we have this dish called Saag, which basically means green. That contains any kinds of green leaf vegetables. So in Indian dining tradition, when you eat meat or fish, you always pair it with vegetable. So this is in such a form. This is cooked in a puree form almost, with different mix of green vegetables. On the top that you have is onions and fried garlic, and some chilies on top as well. The flavor is kind of hard to describe. Different vegetables that's been cooked down with a hint of spice, a hint of acid, and also some chili on the top that provides a spicy kick. Okay, if you really want me to make a comparison, oh, that chili is spicy. I gotta drink something. Oh man. Ooh, that is a spicy kick. The thing with such flavor is that if you have never had it before, it's very hard for me to describe it to you what it was like. In this case, if you really want me to make a comparison, I would say if you ever had the Iranian dish gourmet sabzi, it was like that kind of flavor, but way milder. I would say it's a herbaceous flavor. It's very herbaceous, almost like a very mild medicinal property herb-ish taste. That's what it is. But at the same time, it's cooked into this soft puree. I like the addition of garlic and onion here. It provides a crisp. Next one we have here, which is a side dish to pair with the meat. This is dal, basically lentil, but this one actually has 5 different kinds of lentil or peas. It has lentil, kidney beans, split peas, and there is a chili on top. And also, it is seasoned with a bit of asafoetida. That's the stinky thing I smelled before, which is widely used in various Indian dishes across the subcontinent. I remember I use it in dishes, let's say, in Kashmiri region, such as Rogan Josh. Anyways. Whoa, it has such a rich flavor. You got various texture in it, some smoother paste and some more whole grain ones mixed all together with spice seasonings and everything. You know the rice and beans that you have in a Cuban dish? This is the Indian version of it, but this is lentil. The flavor is way more rich because of all this different seasoning in it and the various textures. So this is overall a more interesting dish. Although it's a side dish. Next up is something I'm really looking for. Not part of the tasting menu though. This is the amazing lamb pulao. So the differences between biryani and pulao is that for biryani, you cook the rice first with whole spices and a little bit of ghee, and you cook it until like 75% down, then you transfer that on top of the base that you're already cooking for whatever that is, like lamb or chicken. Then you overlay the rice on top. Then you steam that to completion. That's biryani. Pulao is that you're just mixing everything together. You add the rice in. Of course, you soak the rice in both cases of biryani and pulao, but in pulao's case, you don't cook the rice separately. You add the rice together with the broth and everything, and they're cooked down. So this is pulao. Yeah, by the way, I make some decent pulao at home. All right, so look at this one. The pulao comes within this pressure cooker. When it opened up, this is a sight to behold. But anyway, we have this one already out there. On the side, we have yogurt. This is yogurt mixed with a bit of preserved dry lemon from Morocco. That's the little black dots you see within, and also pomegranate seeds. This is to balance the pulao. Oh yes, very nicely seasoned, rich spice. Piece of lamb, of course. The lamb pieces is nice and all, but the real highlight here, I think, is actually the rice. It's really well seasoned with this garam masala-ish spice. A little peppery, yes, a bit more peppery than the usual garam masala, I'll say. And we have the yogurt. A bit on the sour side, especially with the pomegranate seeds that adds a bit more sourness to it. And also some of the sourness comes from the dry lemon. Very subtle one, but it's there. Mixed with the rice. That's the way you eat it. So next up, moving on, we have this main course, Lal Maas. This is basically a USDA prime ribeye with Lal Maas curry. Oh yes, USDA prime. That's where you get the beef fat, that flavor. Some crispy char on the edges. Oh, I know, this thing itself is a very good steak. It's a USDA prime after all. So this curry is similar to, let's say, Japanese beef curry, that type of thickness, consistency, but this one is more intense. Richness from the spice, and also it has a bit of this bottle masala vibe that I had before in terms of the intensity and richness. And also one thing is that you can pair it with a naan or paratha, this one that they have right here. It is so filling, I'll be full in no time. So move on. Next, we have this beautiful prawn black masala dish. As you can see, we have 3 beautiful pieces of prawn here topped with masala, which has a black color, so that's why it's known as black masala. And there are some tamarind here, drop of maybe yogurt, tomato chutney, and this is a fermented black garlic. I really like the presentation that the shrimp is on the darker color palette, and the plate is white, light grayish, so it creates this like native space. Oh my God, that contrast is very interesting. You can see the white flesh with the black masala covering it, like black paella. That unusual color just gives you a sense of amusement. That is so interesting. The shrimp is firm and muscular and is covered with this black spice, which has a bit of nutty, sweet, sour flavor to it. The nutty flavor comes from the black sesame used in this masala, which also gives it the signature color. And you can taste a little bit of the sour sweetness from the tamarind that's underneath it. Here we also have the fermented black garlic. It is so soft, almost like jelly. And you taste a bit of this earthy flavor from the garlic, a bit sweetness. It's quite interesting. It tastes quite different from the usual garlic flavor that you know of. This is definitely one of the more interesting dish in terms of flavor. Even though I had a lot of Indian food, this is completely new to me in terms of the spice. This slightly nutty, sour, sweet flavor profile. I like it, yeah. Moving on to Sweetland, we have this beautiful dessert of Dahi Boondi. It is yogurt with Boondi sweet, so it's a caramelized grain with sep, which is fried lentil little noodles, and activated charcoal powder. So this is to pay tribute to a province or state where they have the miner that's doing a lot of this work and they need something to cool themselves down, but they cannot afford something that's really expensive. So this is the alternative that they came out with. They mix yogurt with the sweets and eat it, and this cool their body temperature. So let's try that. We have already applied this different toppings on it. I had this last time and it is literally one of my favorite yogurt dessert ever. Actually, I don't really have to mix it. I can just apply it and put it on the top, but I already mixed it, so yeah, all right. Oh no, that is so good. It's so creamy, so smooth, so luxurious. A bit of honey as well, and you have some textures from the bondis and everything. The sourness from the yogurt, if any, is well balanced by the sweet, so you don't taste any of the sourness from it at all. You really taste a sweet, creamy texture that's slightly sweet from the honey with some of those textures from the bondi sweets. This is one of the dish I want to steal the recipe so I can make it at home. The next one and the last dessert, we have flourless chocolate cake with almond and pistachio crumbles on top, some berries, and this is white chocolate and mango puree combined. This chocolate here is sourced from India, which is kind of rarity because most of the chocolate that you have are sourced from other locations. Because this restaurant wants to represent the diversity of the cuisine in India, so even for this chocolate, they need to source it from India as well. Smooth and creamy texture, 60% dark chocolate, more on the bitter side, not so much of the sweetness, some crumble on the top. Oh, that's a very soft berry. And this berry is not sour at all. The fruit does balance the chocolate flavor. Very good. And lastly, to pair with this dessert, we have limoncello in a tiny shot glass. It actually has a quite high alcohol content, a bit on the sweeter sides, and quite potent. Like, this is very powerful. Even a little bit of a burning sensation down the stomach. Yeah, it's definitely on the higher end of things. There's a bit of this lemony, sweet, fruity flavor in it. Last round of cocktail, we have this Expresso Martini. It is made with vodka, coffee liquor, vanilla, espresso, and some coffee beans on the top. And there's a beautiful layers of foam. Oh, wow. It has this very nice coffee flavor. The alcohol content for this one is quite low, I'll say. there is a nice balance of the sweetness and bitterness from this coffee martini espresso because they do add the freshest espresso, which is a bit bitter in nature, but at the same time, the vanilla has a sweetness that balances it. So it's a more well-rounded, smoother flavor just compared to like a regular espresso. Lastly, this is really the last dessert. We have Seradurra. It is kind of a jackfruit cheesecake with crossings interpretation. So as you can see, we have some jackfruit on top, cream cheese, mascarpone cream, crumbles. Cheesecake, creamy. Some crumbles to create textural contrast, as always. Wow, that jackfruit flavor is coming through very nicely. Sweet, sour, fruity, and meaty, despite being a fruit. I had many cheesecake in the past, and this is definitely one of the better ones, for sure. Wow, this being very good, but please make it be the last dessert. I am completely stuffed. So I just finished the amazing dinner at the Crossing. It is absolutely fantastic. I have sampled so many varieties of different dishes, and I'm absolutely enjoying it. Overall, this is one of the best Indian dining experience I have ever had, and I definitely recommend you to check it out if you're in Dubai. So this is Fuski. I make videos about food, travel, and culture. If you like this video and I want to see more videos like this one of me traveling to different parts of the world, exploring their food, cuisine, and culture, please like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram to get the latest update. And I'll see you in the next video. Ciao. Hey, this is Fuski coming to you from behind the kitchen for Crossing. I'm here with the chef, and he's going to tell me some of the spices usage in the Indian cooking.
Indian cuisine has lots of depth in it,
Right.
which is for chef also it takes long of time to understand. We were talking about masala, so these all blend what we make, and we have more. So if you see that masala is all about what you blend out of it, like your whole spices, how you balance it. If you want to increase heatness to your masala, so you'll increase more of cinnamon, more of black pepper.
Right.
But you want to increase to a sweetness, you will increase fennel, you will increase your green cardamom, that will give more of sweetness. So
Right.
every spice has some balance in it. Some are more of spicy side, which is give you a sweetness. Some are more of side of sweet side, which gives you a sweetness.
So basically, I can understand that garam masala is like the base masala.
Yes.
Right? There are certain proportions. Based on that, you can create variations on top of
Absolutely.
it. So more sweetness, like more
Yes.
fennel, more
Yes.
cardamom.
What portion you use it accordingly.
But there are some that I don't have in my pantry. So for example, stone flour, which
Yeah.
I mentioned is kind of hard to come by, even like
Yes,
for Indian.
that's really difficult.
Right.
And stone flour, as we say, stone flour, it comes to a stone. It grows on a stone. That's the reason its name goes to a stone flour.
Okay.
If you say anything, what we make a korma crumble.
Okay.
Then again, it's a homemade blend.
Okay.
So korma is something which is a gravy, is more of rich and a little bit of sweet side.
Oh, okay.
So for that, we make this almond and pista crumble.
pista crumble
Yes.
inside. Oh, yeah.
So that is the reason what dish you are serving along there, that whatever subcontinent you want to give, it need to be balanced.
I see. And there's pulao masala,
Yes.
like for pulao.
Yes, pulao masala. If you see this pulao masala will have a more of sweetness.
Yeah.
Because into that we need more of green curry. So this is something again based on
Oh.
coconut. Yes.
Oh, this is very different.
Yes.
It's more like a, yeah, with a hint of coconut, but more with like, almost like a dessert crumble
Yes.
sweetness to
Yes.
it.
It has a sweetness because of coconut.
Oh, I see.
So that what is the base? So we increase more of coconut in that, and other masala, your spices are less. So it's balanced in that way.
I see. And also Chettinad Masala.
Yeah. Then
That's
again, it's come from south of India. India south version. People use.
Oh, so
Chettinad.
peppery.
Yes.
Kerala?
Yes.
Oh. Oh.
Kerala.
Oh, yeah, Kerala. Oh
Yeah.
my.
So how people use it, and it's flavorful, very strong. You have to just put a pinch and you get lots of flavor.
Time to step up my masala game. 101.
These all masalas we make homemade. More of people use black mustard, so we use yellow mustard because that doesn't give you that much of spiciness into your food. Either black mustard is very pungent, very spicy when you eat
I
it.
see.
But with the yellow mustard, we try to balance it as our mustard is.
Got it, got it.
It's really great.
Got it. Thank you, Chef, for this very
It's a
valuable
pleasure.
lesson.
It's really pleasure
Yeah.
for us.
Thank you. Thank you so
you.
much. Mhm.
Have-